If you've been a member of my channel or watched any number of my videos, then you know that I am not a fan of shills. I don't like reviewers who don't actually use the product, who don't know anything about the product, who don't become educated about the product when they have it, and certainly individuals who don't do A/B comparisons with products. And that goes for audiophile products, for videography, photography. It goes for any product that I'm really interested in. And it gets really frustrating because you go through all these big name reviewers for anything you can imagine, really, any sort of hobby or technical issue, and you'll see them waxing poetic about a specific type of gear and induce others to buy it. The vast majority of the time, I would say probably 100% of the time, really, people who have these larger channels, they have their affiliate links and they only try to get you to click on those affiliate links. And they want you to buy that product, whether it's from Amazon or it's a direct cooperation with the brand. And they get kickbacks. I know this. I know this because I have brands contacting me all the time. I've been on YouTube for about 8 years, going on 9 years maybe, I don't know, about 9 years. And I've had all sorts of companies contact me about gear that they want me to review. About 90% of the time, that gear is complete trash, right? I mean, it's stuff that I would never ever think about using. And yet they're offering me stuff. They're giving me free gear that I could potentially resell. Most of the time I can't because it's just trash material. Or, you know, I could get some more videos uploaded and more clickbait and all that sort of stuff, and I don't want to do it because it just wastes my time. And there are a number of companies out there, probably, I would say, 5 or 6 times a year, easily. 5 or 6 times a year, easily. I have companies contacting me, telling me they want to get into a cooperation with me. And that essentially means that they're going to pay me to do a video for them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And they don't actually name the number. They don't tell me how much they're going to pay me. They just kind of leave it open-ended. And so if I tell them, I'll do a video for you for $500, they'll get back to me and they'll tell me, we can't pay you $500. How about something else? Now, I've never done a video for a company for monetary relief. In other words, I've never done a video in exchange for that company to pay me. I've done videos in exchange for that company to send me the gear so I can do the review, but I've never done it for money. And the reason I don't do it is because then there's a bias there, obviously, where I'm doing something for somebody, I'm becoming an employee or an agent of that company, and so now I have an obligation to that company to give them what they're asking for. And I can't do that. Anyway, all of this comes around to me just being snarly and antagonistic towards reviewers who don't seem to be able to separate logic from emotion, from their drive to just get clicks. And you can see this all the time. You can see it with photography and videography gear and audiophile gear, where something new comes out and all of a sudden it's the best thing ever. And just a couple of videos before, they were talking about the other best thing ever. And a few videos before that, I mean, you get the idea. But I'm getting back into photography and videography, a hobby that I've had much, much longer than I've had audiophilia, the love of audio as my hobby. And it waxed and waned. I was out of love with photography and videography for probably 3 or 4 years. Just got tired of it. And now I'm finally getting myself back into it and getting the enjoyment out of it, but from a different perspective. And watching all these YouTube videos. And again, it's the same thing. It's the same stuff that I had to navigate through when I was deeply involved in audiophile gear, which is everything is new. Everything is better when it's new, right? A new lens comes out, and oh my God, this has such an amazing organic look to this lens. And it only costs $1,000. You better pre-order this new lens from this Chinese company, because right now, if you pre-order from Kickstarter, you'll get a special price. And you really want it, because I have, me, the big-time reviewer, I have this lens, and I'm telling you, it's got this organic look. And you can see it on the video. I won't tell you what grade I've used in the post-production. I won't tell you what LUTs I've applied, because as a YouTube content creator, of course, I'm using LUTs. I'm not doing any deep dive into DaVinci Resolve. I'm just applying LUTs that I purchased online. So I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you what I did to enhance or change the photo, the picture, the video that you're seeing now on your screen. I'm just going to tell you that it came from this lens. And if you like it, you see that beauty there, you need to buy this lens. Okay. Moving forward. There's one company that I hate with a passion. I hate these guys because these guys are scammers. There is no doubt in my mind that LessLoss Audio from Europe is 100% a scam operation. Now, I've come close to calling other companies a scam operation. I've had several videos about AudioQuest, and I've come very, very close to calling them a scam operation. I haven't directly said it, but I think I've let their own words speak for them because they're that ridiculous. There's a video that I uploaded, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that, about this NAB talk, or I think it was some sort of audiophile gathering somewhere, and AudioQuest had one of their gurus show up and do this presentation in front of all these people about setting up the audiophile computer. And they talked about how choosing the correct SSD would enhance the sound. An SSD would enhance the sound. And that if you could, you should get the highest grade computer you possibly can afford, because the more RAM that you have, the better the music will sound. That's how stupid audiophiles, I'm sorry, that's not how stupid audiophiles are, but that's how stupid AudioQuest was, or that's how stupid they thought audiophiles are. That's why they sent this guy to this show to present complete nonsensical information. And even in that video, even in that very presentation, there were people sitting in the audience who were talking back and responding and asking questions with skepticism. Good. But audiophilia has just such an ingrained sense of being tricked. You can easily be tricked as an audiophile because you don't know. If you're a new person, you get into this hobby, you don't know because some of this stuff is just so foreign to you. And you have people who are much, much older who are in these forums or online or whatever on YouTube, and they tell you that you got to buy this cable. You got to buy it. You cannot listen to your audio. You can't listen to your new headphones on that janky cable that the company sent you with that headphone. No. What you got to do, you got to pay extra. You got to pay about $100 at the minimum, because under $100, you're not sure you're getting good quality here. You got to pay $100, and it's got to be silver braided. It's got to be braided. And you know what? It's got to be balanced. And if your headphones aren't balanced, man, you're missing out. You're missing out. And if your amp is not balanced, you're missing out. I mean, you get the idea, right? I mean, you've all heard it. So it's easy to fall into that stuff. But there is one company that has the worst, in my mind, the worst reputation. LessLoss Audio. These guys are scammers through and through. And I'm going to prove it to you. You can look at any of their products. They're complete trash products that they charge an absurd, it's a hard time saying the word, an absurd amount of money for their products. I'll show you one example. This is one of their cheaper products, by the way. Ready? This is called the Blackbody Ambient Field Conditioner. Now, you can ask yourself, what is an ambient field conditioner? I'll tell you. By the way, I am drinking Hennessy whiskey. Hennessy with a K, not Tennessee with a T. Hennessy. It's 110 proof whiskey. Well, it's bourbon. Okay, it's not Scotch. And I have only had one sip, and I'm having a second sip now. And I want you to understand, I'm not inebriated by any stretch of the imagination. I also have a giant cup of water, just in case. But I'm drinking this 110 proof whiskey right now. I'm going to take a sip because I need to calm down about this product. This is the Blackbody Ambient Field Conditioner. This poop-looking, smashed, dog shit-looking, metallic, round bullshit product, the Blackbody version 2. Here's what it does. You take this metallic product that they say that they have specially engineered with glass components on the inside and with a special contour to the outside. And if you place it at a specific angle in your room, it will absorb the electromagnetic radiation that is emanating from outer space, and it will absorb it into this tiny puck. It will absorb it, making your sound better. Okay, now if that sounds alien to you, it's because it is, because these people were born on Saturn, and they came to Earth to sell Earthlings, dumb Earthlings, this retarded product. This thing, and by the way, I apologize for saying the R word, but I'm not calling somebody the R word. I'm calling this product the R word because it is, in fact, retarding your intelligence if you buy this. Do not buy this piece of crap. What they say is if you go through their word salad, not unending smorgasbord of stuff. Oh, by the way, this is just one page of their limitless pages of bullshit. You keep going through it. They're trying to explain to you throughout page after page after page after page after page of why this product is specifically designed by this company, LessLoss Audio, to absorb electromagnetic radiation coming from space and into your room. And once it absorbs it, you can finally start listening to your music better. Do I need it? Or on page 3, do I need it? Beginnings, some prehistory about earliest experimentation. These guys have done zero experimentation. These guys are complete scammers. You just keep... Okay, so I went through this website a couple of years ago, and I was so livid to see this. I contacted them using a pseudonym email, a throwaway email address. And I asked them questions. I just asked them questions. I said, hey, do you have any evidence to support what you're saying? Because none of what you're saying in your website makes any sense. And they said, yes, it does. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I don't have access to that email because it was a throwaway email address. They said, yes, we do. You know, anecdotal evidence demonstrates to us that our product works. Anecdotal evidence is not evidence in the scientific field. Anecdotal evidence is only permissible in court. Okay, as I mentioned many years ago, I am a lawyer. Anecdotal evidence is everything that's involved in court. Very seldom do you get objective evidence. You do from time to time, right? DNA evidence is objective. Toxicology evidence is objective. But almost everything else involved in conviction or finding somebody guilty in a civil case is anecdotal. It's one party's anecdote of what happened versus another party's anecdote of what happened, right? That's anecdotal evidence. But in science, you can't use anecdotal evidence as the basis to say that you have invented something unique. Anecdotal evidence may be sufficient in science, may be sufficient for you to begin the process of investigation, of objective investigation and experimentation. Anecdotal evidence cannot be the basis by which you use to sell a product. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. I mean, it works this way in Audiophile and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it works this way because there are people who are trying to scam you. So anyway, this company tells me in our exchange email that it's anecdotal evidence, and a lot of people enjoy it. They tell them that the thing works, blah, blah, blah. And then they started talking about building their own electromagnetic radiation testing, whatever it was, right? I forget what it's called. And they said using off-the-shelf parts, they would be able to measure the amount of electromagnetic radiation that's being absorbed by their dog shit, hockey puck product. And I asked them, what's taking you guys so long? Why can't you build it if it's off-the-shelf parts? They couldn't tell me. They couldn't tell me. We're back and forth emails. They couldn't tell me. And by the way, you know this is complete shit, complete nonsense, because they're usurping actual science and misapplying it on purpose. So they've got the degrees of tilt here, right? That's what we're going to call it. The degrees of tilt, vertical tilt. From the equator, right? There's 90 degrees, which is straight up and down, all the way down to negative 60 degrees. Now, why is this important? This is the equatorial adjustment. This is what you would use for a telescope. If you wanted to do astrophotography, for example, you could easily do it with just a tripod. But if you wanted to do long astrophotography, meaning you wanted to capture a specific object in the sky for hours on end throughout the night, you would need an equatorial base, something that has a specific angle given where you are on the planet, generally speaking. Because the tilt of the planet and the rotation of the Earth means that the object that you're tracking with your camera is going to not follow a straight line, but it's going to have a curvature to it. And so that equatorial base is going to help you stay on that curve compared to where you are, right? I mean, that's what these degrees actually mean for real usage. But here, what LessLoss Audio is saying is that when you take their dog shit, useless piece of crap product, and you buy it, you have to actually tell them what degree, where you are in the world, so that they can provide you with the right degree of tilt. And then you place this dog shit product somewhere in a corner in your room. And if you told them where you live, they'll give you the correct degree based on the equatorial plane. And that will absorb the electromagnetic radiation. Now, if this sounds stupid to you, that's because it is stupid. It's absolutely unfounded. I tried to do a little bit of research on this years ago when I contacted these jackasses, and again, I've been just simmering. It for some reason, it just came back to me a couple months ago, and I've been simmering about it. And I looked at it again, and again, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that is scientifically based at all. They quote scientific language, they talk about science, they talk about certain theories, but they're dead wrong because they are scamming people. The other thing that these guys do is that there's an interview about this product with, I think, Six Moons. If you're familiar with Six Moons' website, they do audiophile gear reviews, and man, if you thought John Darko was a shill, Six Moons is something else. It's another level of shill. If you thought John Darko was bad, I mean, he gets a break now, because Six Moons will sell you anything, absolutely anything. And so I think it was Six Moons. They interviewed one of the people who works at this company about this piece of dog shit product, and he's talking about how amazing this product is, and that one will do the trick, but to get the best out of it, you need a series of three. You need a series of three, because the three will absolutely absorb all the electromagnetic radiation coming at the Earth. And the interviewer actually promoted that nonsense, and it was based entirely on anecdotal evidence. Oh, here we go. Right? They're clearly taking images and information that's publicly available online, and they're altering it. I'm sorry, I've only had 2 sips, so it's not that. It's not the whiskey. It's not the 110 proof whiskey. They're altering this material to make it look like they invented it, that they created. This is not theirs. None of this is theirs. They didn't go out and get a photograph of this crash landing with their 2 helicopters that they use in order to measure the electromagnetic radiation in the atmosphere. They also didn't get this photograph by themselves of the space probe that was being constructed by NASA. Oh, and they also didn't go to space to get this. I mean, that's what I mean. These guys pilfered publicly available material, and then they put it in their website, and they put all sorts of nonsensical jargon around these photographs, making you think that they're scientists, that they know what they're talking about. These guys are complete jackasses. They are not scientists. They have no basis to make these claims. I remember this photograph from grade school. When I was in grade school, we had our science book, Earth Science book, and I remember something like this. I remember this photograph being in one of my science books in grade school, the size of the Earth compared to a sunspot on the sun. This is how stupid this is. Okay, I think you get the idea. I think you get the idea that this product is absolute trash. Okay, how much does it cost? All right, let's go back. I gotta go find this stupid product. Back to page 1. It's going to take a while. This is how many pages we've gone through. Guys, this is how many pages we've gone through. All right, here we go. $836 for one. You got to do a custom angle. You got to do an angle. If you put in an angle, what is the zip code for, I don't know, New York? I'm not in New York. I don't know. Hold on. New York zip code. Here's one, 07008. Let's put that in. 07008. Okay, so it comes up with this. And it says it's 49 degrees. Okay, that's going to be my angle, 49 degrees. Excuse me. So here's what this means for you. If you move across the country, or if you move across the world, your angle might change. And so that means that this product that you spend $1,000 on is going to be completely useless. $1,000 for this thing. I mean, look at it. They've got nothing here. This thing is supposed to absorb the electromagnetic radiation coming from outer space. Let me tell you something. There is electromagnetic radiation around us all the time. All the time. There's electromagnetic radiation from the headphones that you're using, the cell phone that you're using, the monitor that you're using, whether you're on your cell phone or your TV or whatever, the computer, the cell tower outside, your neighbor's house, obviously outer space, the cell reception that's coming down, right? The signal, that itself, the satellite signal from your satellite TV, your GPS navigation system, your car. I mean, everything is electromagnetic radiation. You're being bombarded with that all the time. The only way that you could possibly isolate yourself from electromagnetic radiation is if you bury yourself into the ground in a concrete bunker. And it's thick layered concrete bunker. At that point, you will have shielded yourself from electromagnetic radiation to a degree. If you are the President of the United States and you're flying on Air Force One, that aircraft is shielded from electromagnetic radiation to a certain extent. It is also protected from EMP, electromagnetic pulse, that happens, that's generated from a thermonuclear warhead. And that EMP pulse will short out electrical device and all that sort of stuff. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It's heavily shielded. So the whole thing has to be shielded. There is a way to protect certain components from electromagnetic damage. But getting this dog shit honky puck and putting it in the corner of your room is not shielding anything. There is no scientific basis for this product. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if it was just, one stupid product that they're selling. And, if you're that stupid, if you're that dumb, and you want to sell this stuff on your website, fine, whatever. Go ahead and sell this stuff on your website. You're selling something that very, very, very few people are ever going to have the money to spend on, right? Who's going to spend $1,000 on this thing? It doesn't even look good. You can't even say it's an art piece. But people do, okay? If it was just this one thing, whatever. But it's not this one thing. This whole company is based upon bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. Look at all their products. A $500 must-have foundation for any sound system today. Really, let's find out what this is. It's a goddamn plug. Guys, it's a plug. It is a plug that costs $500. It may look kind of nice. Great. I would admit it looks kind of nice. I like the brown braiding. Great. It does not look like it's a shielded cord. How can you sell this? It doesn't seem to be shielded. I could be mistaken. I just don't know because of the photographs. This suggests that it might be shielded. But even if it is shielded, I hope it's shielded. How many layers of shielding are you going to put around copper? Are you serious? You need eight layers of Kevlar or whatever this stuff is? No, you don't need that. You don't need Kevlar. You just need good shielding. But these guys are selling this nonsense for $500. What else are they selling? Loudspeaker cables, digital cables. But what I'm really interested in is DACs. They're selling DACs. The cheapest DAC that they sell is almost $5,400. And their most expensive is $34,000. $34,000. Take a look at this. It's made out of wood. They don't give you the full... I don't want to watch their stupid video. Please don't show me your video. Look at this. What is this? It looks like a cigar box. It is a cigar box. They took a cigar box, drilled some holes in it, and they're charging you $34,000. It's an R2R DAC, $34,000 R2R DAC. Okay. There's nothing special about this. And they can put, for whatever reason, they decided to put carbon fiber inside the chassis of the cigar box. Why? Why would you do that? What benefit is that? How does it help any of the components on the inside? It doesn't. If you have a bad soldering, it might short out everything else, and your carbon fiber might be unscathed. That's fantastic. But carbon fiber is no good. It's just more expensive. And look, it might look good with the thing open, but you're not going to use that thing open, and it doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's the whole point of this company, that they just want to, they're all appearances, no substance, complete and utter bullshit. And I've been simmering about this for a long time. I've been thinking about how do these companies like LessLoss Audio, how do these companies live with themselves? How do the people in these companies who manufacture this bullshit live with themselves? How can they wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go to work today, and I'm going to put in my damnedest effort to bamboozle people out of money? That's what this company is doing. They are bamboozling people out of money. There is not an iota of scientific support behind that dog shit product I told you about, the Blackbody absorption thing, whatever that is, right? And there's no reason for these DACs to cost $34,000, $5,400, or $19,000. You know, there are three variations of their DACs. And you can say, look, any people who have the money are going to spend the money, and they should be allowed to spend it. Of course, if you have $34,000 burning a hole in your pocket and you want to spend it on an R2R ladder DAC that's shoehorned into a cigar box, an ugly cigar box, by the way, go right ahead. It's your money. I'm not going to stop you. But I just think that it's really disingenuous for companies like LessLoss Audio to sell products on the premise that they're selling good products, number one, and number two, that they're selling products that are founded in reality. They're not. They're absolutely not. And so when I compare companies like LessLoss Audio to AudioQuest, you know, I have a distinct distaste for AudioQuest because they do similar things. They don't charge as much as LessLoss Audio, but here's one thing that AudioQuest does do. Okay, they at least have products that you can use. The products aren't going to do anything, but they at least do something. Let me explain what I mean by that. They're not going to harm your system generally, although there is some basis based upon some testing that their powered cables with some sort of battery in it actually creates more distortion than they should because of the battery power. Obviously, it's adding distortion to the chain. It doesn't matter. Okay, but at least they don't sell you things that are dead weight and pretend that they actually do something. The closest thing I could come up with is possibly the jitterbug, which I found to be completely useless. I don't think it does anything. But look, you got an extra USB dongle thing if you really need it. That's all. I mean, you could theoretically use it for that, to extend your USB port on your computer to get it further 1 inch out. There's some use to it. There's no use to that hockey puck because you pay $1,000 for that thing. I just hope that audiophiles someday kind of get tired of this stuff. I know they won't. I just hope that they will. And I hope that companies like LessLoss Audio go out of business. I hope that they get prosecuted for committing crimes, because I think they are. I think a lot of audiophile companies are actually committing fraud on their customers, on the general public. Now, I can only speak as an attorney in the United States, and I can tell you this much from my experience, that as a company, you have certain obligations under state and U.S. federal codes that you cannot mislead a consumer into buying your product. If you mislead a consumer to buying your product, that means you have committed fraud, and you can be sued for that. You can be shut down for that. The government, state or federal, depending on how this process happens, can shut you down for defrauding the customer. If I tell you as a company, if I tell you my product is better than the other guy's product, that's not defrauding. Okay, that's not me saying you have to buy this because my product does X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying I think my product is better than the other guy's product. I'm perfectly allowed to say that because that's my opinion. My opinion is my product is better than the other guy's product. That's fine. But if I tell you my product is specially designed to absorb blackbody radiation, meaning the electromagnetic radiation that is inundating our world all the time from outer space and from the products that we use every single day, and it doesn't do that, that is 100% fraud on the consumer. They're lying. And I know this company is lying. There is no scientific basis for their opinion. Now, I pay for the pro version, I guess, of ChatGPT and Claude. If you haven't heard of Claude AI, it's fantastic. It's good. Yeah, give it a try. You don't have to pay for it. There's a free version. Anyway, so these AIs do a little bit of research for me every once in a while to help me get started. Anyway, I had Claude go through this stupid LessLoss audio Blackbody stuff, and I asked it, "Is this a scam? This part is a scam, right?" That's what I asked. And yes, it doesn't come out and say yes, it's a scam because it's AI, but it does say, look, there are pretty big red flags here, and the biggest one that it flagged is the fact that they misuse what is established science for their own purposes. They're talking about quantum mechanics being applied to their dog shit product. I'm sorry, that's not true. You mean to tell me this European dog shit company somehow stumbled upon the secrets of quantum mechanics when the likes of Albert Einstein could not do it? The most intelligent physicist, the most intelligent physicist of our or any era could not figure out quantum mechanics, and these two schmucks, and I think there are two people here, these two schmucks from this company are able to figure it out. Why isn't somebody giving them the Nobel the Nobel Prize in Physics? Why aren't somebody giving them that? Why aren't they going to Geneva? Why aren't they being hired by government agencies to help finally crack their secretive communication techniques that cannot be breached by foreign agents? If these guys are so capable of unlocking the secrets of quantum mechanics and put it in their dog shit product, why can't they do it for the government that'll pay them oodles of money? Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine how much money they would get from the U.S. government alone? The U.S. government, through DARPA, would give them millions upon millions upon millions of dollars per year just to kind of kick around with this stuff. That's what DARPA does. And yet, they're putting it in their dog shit product. How interesting.